Then we're going to talk about panel basics, care, navigation, and the Android versus the PC side. So let me ask a couple of questions. How many of you all have a computer that is on board behind the device somewhere? It's on the other side? Yep. On the other side. Anybody have that on their panel? You do?
Built-in PC.
A built-in computer. When they were buying these at the very beginning, the company wants to sell you a PC to go with it because then it kind of, it interacts and it's all attached to the thing. But they don't renew that PC. It's not on support. It's not like it's going to get old. Bottom line, it's going to get old. And once it gets old, who's going to buy you a new one? Same things like if the TV got old. So the way that we're mostly purchasing them now don't have a PC on the back. And if you have the PC, that's great. It's going to be awesome. And you're going to love it, and it's all built in. If you don't have a PC on the back, you have what I have. And I just have a wire, one of these wires, goes up through my ceiling and connects. You can also put your laptop on like a little rolly cart and plug it in on the other side over there. And you can run it with a little handheld. You'll ever have a handheld for the laptop? I have one I can show you. I'll pull that out later. So you have that situation to think about as well. If it's plugged in, it will do everything that the one on the back will do. And when your laptop gets old, they're going to give you a new one. So it's good to be able to know what to do. Do you know the thing that will kill your panel dead in an instant? So we'll look for that. And then part 3, we're going to talk about all the fun features. This is the stuff that makes it so exciting. We are planning to have a second training in a couple of months. This is just an intro to the ClearTouch panel. One shows up on your desk, on your doorstop, and what do I do? How do I turn it on? What good is it? Why do I need to use this? And it'll get you started. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. We'll have a follow-up training in a couple of months.
I am actually a full-time teacher at Ruckle Middle School. I teach CTE web development. I am also the yearbook advisor and the webmaster, and now I am finalizing my ClearTouch trainer certification. We are really going to touch on the very basics. We are going to move rapidly through those basics. That's why I wanted to share the ClearTouch experience with you. I do want you to share this with your colleagues that aren't here. Let them know about the ClearTouch experience. There is a multitude of training in there for you on all of the different features that the board does offer you. There's also a way you can ask questions. You can chat with the people at ClearTouch directly, which is fabulous. So it's a fabulous resource that they have come up with. It is set up like a social media type site, but it is really invaluable, especially if you have not had the in-depth training. It will give you a lot of that and the ability to ask those questions. Right now this board is off. We're going to talk about some of the basics here. It is 100% powered down. The kill switch has been switched. I know that because there's no light on my power button. Okay? When you go for holiday, when you go for the summer, you want to make sure that you have turn the kill switch off and master switch. They call it the kill switch. Well, they call it the kill switch. That switch is located, this is your power cord. The switch is located right next to the left of the power cord, and you can just toggle it. It's just a toggle switch. Okay? If for any reason this isn't working and you know it's plugged in, check that. Okay? Solid red means the board is off. You want to make sure at nights and weekends that you have a solid red. Liz had this experience right before I came up to meet with her the first time. This panel works on infrared. So when you touch it, you've got infrared cameras all the way around it. That is what causes the touch. It's 20 points of touch. It does not work like your typical touch screen on your iPad or phone or things like that where it's heat sensitive or pressure sensitive. Okay? It works with the infrared. If it is not powered off and a bug flies into that field, it will come out of sleep mode. So you really want to power it off at night and especially on weekends, okay? So to power it on is just like your TV power button, a couple seconds, it will activate. You don't want to turn it off during the day because it does take time to power back on, okay? And you should also have a remote. You can use that.
And are you saying, so for the master switch, use it during holidays or also for the weekends?
Not for the weekends, holidays and summers. Yep. Come on. To put it in sleep mode on your power button, you're just going to click it. You'll know it's in sleep mode because it is going to flash red and white. Okay? To bring it out of sleep mode, you just have to touch it. And it will come back. That is what I would do, sleep mode, if you're on break. I wouldn't power it down if you're going to continue using it for the rest of the day because it does take some time to come back up. Okay? Single click, and you'll know it's in sleep mode because it'll flash red and white. And a single touch will reactivate it. That's why that bug flying into it when it's in sleep mode will turn it on during the weekend. Changing inputs and controlling your brightness and power is a swipe from the bottom center. Swipe up. You're going to change your inputs. You can see here I got in that field and so it went away. We have 3 HDMI connections available. We have a USB-C. We do also have a VGA available. I did it again.
What are you doing? I don't catch it. That's making that go away.
I'm getting in the field,
Okay.
and so it's dropping it down. We can change our volume. You can also change your brightness. And then these blue dots, these are your active inputs.
And when she says active inputs, that means they're
Oh,
plugged
'cause I didn't
into the
touch it.
side over here. We've got a whole bunch of little input slots over here of different kinds. There's 3 HDMI, there's a square touch 2, which I think is when you have 2 touch panels working together. Is that correct? Do you know that one? Because touch 1 is the top one, it's square looking, and that's the one that's running to the teacher laptop over there. It just is going up through the ceiling. But like we said before, you could just connect it there and like put it on a rolly cart here and run your laptop from a little handheld thing when you're other places in the room.
Okay, we do want to talk about care for a moment. Now that we've talked about power, we want to talk about care. You want to clean this at least once a day, get those fingerprints off. You do have, your boards will come with 2 styluses. Both ends are usable. And one of my students, after I had it for about a month and a half, was using it and tossed it right there. And I was like, what? So they're magnetic. But any stylus will work. Liz purchased this one. It's got the stylus on the end because this board is a little high
It's a
to
little
reach
high.
the top. But in order for you all to see, it needed to be higher, right? So I'm going to be getting one of these for my classroom. So when you are cleaning, you want to use a microfiber cloth.
Go ahead.
Okay. You want to use a microfiber cloth. Any microfiber cloth will work. This one just happens to come from Clear Touch. It does have a magnet sewn in. If you get any microfiber cloth, you can put one of those little magnet buttons and magnet it to the back of your board. And then you have it accessible anytime. Okay? You can use the electronic wipes, electronic approved wipes, and that's okay. If you are going to spray water, if you need more cleaning because little fingers were sticky, water goes on this only. Do not spray water on your screen. It will, if water gets in these infrared cameras, your board is done.
It's dead.
It's
Completely.
dead.
One drop of water and you just burned all that money. And it's this little tray down here. So never spray anything on here. And you know how subs sometimes want to be helpful? You need to put a big sign. That, I put a sign, nobody looks at that sign. I'm going to have a giant sign that I'm going to put on. And the other thing is, I don't know if you noticed this little drippy looking thing on the ceiling here. This particular roof has a little bit of a leak issue, and it is right over the TV. So when I am not here, or if it's going to rain, and I know that, I have a giant plastic thing that I put over this. So you know those plastic tablecloths you can buy at Joann Fabric? Some of them are really, they might even be big enough for this, and they have elastic around the edges. And you could just hook it on and go all the way around. And sure enough, when I put that plastic up, very first storm, we had drips hitting right over here. They would have gone in and probably killed my machine first weekend that I had it up on the wall. I did buy this stuff called Screen Shine, and I did get it on Amazon. It is safe for screens, and this is like the wipes that you're talking about. You can't just use anything that you want on any device, like TVs. If you put certain things you spray on there, it will kill your TV. So if you've got big screen TVs or you have these, you need something appropriate. If you're using water, how do you know what is too much water? So if you've got this and you got water on it and you tap the back of your hand with it, if you see dots of water, it's too much water.
A
So that's
spritz
a
is
good
all
way.
it takes.
Yeah, it's a good way to measure it that way.
When you do clean, the best thing to do is to change to an inactive input.
So
And
that
I'm-
one doesn't have anything plugged into it. That's
Right.
why she picked that one.
So the blue dots tell you what's active, what has something plugged into it. Now I can see better, right? And I'm also not going to have any interaction with the panel
Right.
while I'm cleaning.
So I'm going to also, while she's doing that, while she's cleaning our board, I'm going to show you, these are little stylus things that I got on Amazon again. I got them to use on iPads. There's two things wrong with it. They're adorable, but there's two things wrong. First of all, they're a pen. Don't give your kids a pen. They're going to forget and write on the board with a pen and scratch the glass. They also have the metal around the edge, and the little kids, some of the big kids, will chew off the little rubber tip, and then you've got metal on metal. That's a bad idea. So that's these. I just want to show them to you because they really are so cute. They do work on the screen, just like that pointer tool that she has.
Any stylus.
Any stylus will work.
So I didn't have any water on this at all. This is just the microfiber cloth, and you can see that it came quite clean. So you really only need to dampen it if it's severe, if that makes
And that comes
sense.
with the board, right?
No.
But any of those really nice big microfiber cloths, I would just buy one of those, and I'd get one of those dot magnets, and I'd sew it in the corner so I could store it behind like she's showing you.
I want you to switch the input back to Android.
Remember? And change the volume while you're at it.
Oh, no, don't spin. You have all the way at the bottom from the center. There you go. Oh, that's okay. Yep,
Okay.
all the way. There you go. All right, so that is our changing of inputs.
Now, there is not a microphone, is that correct?
There is not a microphone.
And there is not a camera. So if you want to get a camera that, you could, like you do virtual meetings with, you could put that camera on here and just plug it into one of the inputs on the side.
Yes. ClearTouch does have a camera, like as an accessory, that sits up there very, very nicely. But it does not have to be a ClearTouch camera. It can be any. All right, navigation is what we're going to talk about now. There are a couple of ways to navigate. I actually really like that they did this, especially if you have the larger board. Right here is the overlay menu, and you can see that my arrow is moving on both sides. This is available on either side. Okay, so if I'm standing on this side, I can get to it. If I'm standing over here, I can get to it, right? Which is nice because we like to move around, get in proximity to our students. You can move where it is if you have a lower board or if you're shorter. It's nice that you can tell it where to go. And I did forget to start recording. I was supposed to be recording my screen. That is one of the features of the board. I can hit record and start recording. 2, 1. This is only going to record what is on the screen. It is not going to record you speaking because it does not have a built-in mic. Okay? So just keep that in mind. There are multiple other tools. I have a back button. This works with the browser. It also works if I have an app open. It will go back to the previous app or back to the home screen. I do have a home screen option. I have a way to see any open apps that I have used, which since it was just powered off, we don't have any open, right? Chorus, which we are going to get to, that is your whiteboard. Okay. An annotation tool, I can annotate on anything. We're going to get to that as well. I can lock my screen. And you can see right here this is locked. And while it's locked, I can zoom in, zoom out. I know I'm on the home screen. It's not very interesting to be zooming in on. But how often do we want our kids to see one particular thing, or they say, hey, I can't read that? You can lock your screen, enlarge that, and make it more visible for them or bring their attention to it. And then you just hit close, and it will come out. The little tools right here. This is one of my favorite things. You have available a spotlight. I want you to go right here, or I want you to look right there, right? We also have a countdown tool. If you're transitioning from one activity to another, I'm going to decrease this time so that you can hear the chimes. Unfortunately, at this point, you cannot change the chime. It is just what's built in. And it's very loud.
That will get your attention.
Yes, it will. We also have a stopwatch available. And I was showing elementary earlier, if maybe you're having a race to finish something, somebody gets finished, you can lap it. It will tell them their time, and you can continue to lap, or you can pause and continue. So, neat little feature. We are going to talk about Air Class a little bit later. Okay, that's a student interactivity part. That is another place to get to your settings right here, your inputs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the PC and Android, and then we'll come back to annotations. Like Liz said earlier, if you have the built-in PC, you would swipe up, and you would actually see PC as an option. Okay, if you have it built in. If you are connected with your laptop, which this one is, through HDMI 1. If you don't touch that after a few seconds, it goes away. And there's my screen. While I'm on this, I cannot touch this to make it activate, but I can use the remote to go through my slides.
Nice.
Okay. But it is touch activated. It will control like a mouse my computer from here. So if I wanted to, I want to go over here to Wheel of Names, I can do that through touch, even though my laptop is not touch sensitive.
Touch it. So you are in the PC side right now. Is that correct? Or you're just connected to the PC?
I'm connected to a
But
PC. Where I am is mirroring my computer.
But it's still interactive.
It is still interactive. So this is considered an input. So right now you are not in the board itself. You are connected to your laptop, but it does give you that interactivity mode.
So just like a teacher might go to a web page on their laptop, you could touch the board and go to another web page.
Correct.
Without touching the teacher's laptop.
Correct. I can't reach up there without getting on my tiptoes. So there's the slides that I was doing.
And all those are open on your teacher laptop right now.
Correct.
Which is why you can interact with them.
Correct.
Now you could pull something else up,
Mhm.
right?
And you can still use your mouse over here also. So this is an external PC connected to be able to be interactive. I want you to be able to understand the difference between this is a connected computer and not the internal computer. Okay? It's really not different. It really isn't. Okay? The only slight, you might have a small, tiny delay in some of the activities that we're going to display later for Snowflake, but it's minute. We're going to talk a little bit about the remote. Your remote has these dots. Red is lock and unlock touch, meaning I want somebody to go up and show me something, but I don't want them to accidentally go somewhere else. I can lock that touch so that it can't be touched at that moment. Green is lock and unlock power button on the panel. If you have 6th, 7th graders, it's a very good possibility they'll go, oh, but there's a pretty light, right? I actually had that happen last year. Yellow, show or hide clocks. I don't even know why this is here and why it is connected. Because you can't change those clocks. It's like Los Angeles and Paris or something.
I'm going to find out how, because I know there must
Oh,
be a
no.
way to do it. So
Cannot change the locks to different time zones.
that's just wrong.
And then blue is your freeze and unfreeze. Except I'm not. There we go. You'll know it's frozen because you'll have the little magnifying glass with the lock. And then I can zoom in.
So do we need to lock the screen before we zoom?
Yes. Yes, you do. In order to zoom, you do have to be locked. Except I can't reach it. There we go. All right. Other functions on here, you have sleep. So you can put it to sleep. Note app on the Android, press the pencil. So this is on the Android side. This is the Android. It just switched my inputs. I'll show you. See, it switched when I hit that pencil and brought up the note, it switched the inputs automatically.
So HDMI 1 is my teacher laptop, and Android is...
Android is the primary source operating system of the device.
It's the device itself.
It is built in. Yes, ma'am. So when you're looking at the home screen, this is the Android. So your Android side is the Clear Touch panel. This is built in. This is where everything is going to live unless you are connected to either the internal PC or connecting your external PC. Okay? And then, of course, you do have input selector on here, and I still can't see. What does it say that button is? General settings. It really would have helped if I had worn my glasses.
That the PC side, let's see if we get this right, If I want to mirror what's on my teacher laptop and be interactive, instead of changing stuff at the laptop, I can change it at the board here, then I need to be on that HDMI input, which is where my laptop is plugged in right here. So if you have that, that's what that side is. So then the Android side is,
your primary built-in item. If you do have a built-in PC, I did want to point out, it'll look like this. You'll know pretty quick if you have a built-in PC or not, because it will show it.
and
Okay?
you'll use that instead of HDMI 1.
Right.
So what
Okay.
does Android do? List.
Android actually does a lot, so even if you do not have your computer connected, limitations of Android. These are mobile apps, okay? It can feel limited. We are going to look at the ClearTouch store. It's right there. You can see the little hands. Here we have, there's your answer. He was doing a presentation and he had it on a thumb drive, couldn't get it to work on the Android side, had to switch to the PC. It happened to have a built-in PC, but you do have your Microsoft tools are available on here. Do any of you have a ClearTouch document camera, or do you think you might have a ClearTouch document camera? You're getting one. Okay. In order to connect wirelessly, since we're here, you're going to want this Connect DC. It is in the App Store. If you have a document camera already hooked up to your PC, switch to the PC side, use the document camera you have. Okay? But if you're getting a ClearTouch wireless document camera, you have to have this in order to connect. And there are more, this is just the ones that are most frequently downloaded. You can search. There's BrainPop, Starfall.
Now, these are apps that you download onto the ClearTouch panel.
Correct.
And we already have BrainPop available through our class link.
Yes. What
so
is
you
it?
don't need to download that to use it.
Right. You don't. There's only 32 gigs available on here, and 14 gig is already taken up by the software that's built in. So you want to be careful with how much you download. If it's something that you are going to use every day on the Android, then yes, download it. If it's something that I can go to the computer side, have my computer hooked up, and pull up in ClassLink, I would do that.
This is like, think of it like it's a giant iPad.
Yes.
It's a giant iPad, and you've got limited memory, and you don't want to download every single app from the App Store onto it when you already have access through the teacher device.
Yes. Who remembers how to get back to the home screen? Well, that took me back to where I searched. So I can also hit that home button, and it takes me to home. To see all of the apps I have installed, I go to my waffle menu, and that will show me everything that's installed. All right, there's that command we were talking about. Command is here. You're not going to take it off your device. You can delete apps. Do not delete command. Command can be used by the principal and can also be connected to the school or to the county. We need to start working on that. As he said, we've suddenly gotten a multitude of these. Before it was one school or one or two at a school. Now we're getting many, many more. And it is really time for us to start using command. The person who is in charge of command can make sure they're all shut down for the weekend. It can be done in subsections. They can also send out alerts through your panels. As long as the master switch is on, the person that has command can force it to be powered on or to come out of sleep to put up, let's say we have a lockdown. So they can put up that. So I'll be working on with Liz and Dustin to kind of get more of that information out. That we didn't go into a lot of training on that because it's not something most of us use. But don't try to delete it. Is why I'm giving this spiel right now. Okay. Well, what does it do? It's not really for you. It's for keeping track of the boards. Okay. You do have your browser. This is just a general browser. Just like it's Google, but it's Google Lite. It is not a full Google browser. Like I don't have my Google menu over here that I can sign into, so it doesn't give me all of those capabilities. Okay? I can go to YouTube using, but it is a mobile. You notice here it's the m.youtube. This is a mobile app. Then you have Chorus, which is our whiteboard. We're going to get to that in a minute, and we're going to spend a good amount of time there. Clear Touch Store, Cloud Drive. When you go to sign in, you can sign into either Google Drive or OneDrive. So you are able to connect your documents and things that way. You are able to save to those as well. Collage, we're going to also talk about that. That is how you can mirror or share your screen. And you were asking about mirroring the iPads. Collage is how we do that. Okay. Emails, I'm not connecting my email to this board because I don't want them coming through to the board because this is displayed in the front of my room.
In front of students.
Yeah. So I don't use it. Finder, this is where your files go. There's Finder and Keeper. Get Started is a great resource. It also has, I think it actually has the link to the experience in it. But your Clear Touch panel has arrived. Let's get started. And there's information on your device, depending on which one you have. If you're not sure, this is the 8000 Max. That's the one with the big panels on the side. That's like a whiteboard. Most of us don't have that because it's like forever big. The 6000K is what this one is, probably K+. It's available in 64 and 86 inch. So most of the ones going out right now are in this series. But you can tell. Can't remember how you can tell.
Should be on there's an info page on the screen.
Yes. All right. Then we have Note, OneNote. Note was what we were just on. You can make your notes, clean all. You've got rulers, shapes, tables I can put in, mind maps. This is a great resource for displaying information for your kids. There's multiple ways of using the Android side to annotate, to take notes, to show things. So that one's Note. I do want to show the annotation tool that is just available directly on the screen. This is one that you either have to save or it disappears, okay? Which I like because if you're just wanting to point something out, you're just going to click on the pen tool. This will come up and you have the option between pen, brush, clean, save, close. You can save it to the cloud. You can share it. That's going to give you a QR code. And you have settings where you can choose the size of your pencil and your highlighter, and you can also choose up to 4 colors. And if you tap on the item that you're wanting to use, each time you tap changes that color. Okay? Let's say I'm just going to go to YouTube because it's easy. So now I can take my pen and I can go, okay, I want you to look right here. This is the one you're searching for. I don't need it anymore. I don't need to save that. I can just close it and it will disappear. Okay, it's not saved anywhere. It's just please look right here. okay? Which I can also do with my nifty little spotlight.
Okay, before we were,
Spotlight zoom, clarity. I can make the rest of the screen completely black.
And you can make it a rectangle.
This is where I want you to be. We're going to talk about building an igloo out of ice. I'm going to just say this is what I want. I'm going to save. Save success. But where is
did it go?
where did it go? So we're going to go back home. And I'm going to go to my additional apps and to Finder. Finder is where it lives. The QR codes, you'll notice when I made the QR codes to share, it also saved those. So when I make the QR code, it does automatically save for me.
And you might be able to rename them when you save them. I can't remember. Doesn't it show up as a?
Not for that.
Not for
it
that
does. I think it does when you're in chorus.
Can you tap on it and rename it right there?
Mm-hmm.
So over on the right,
Yep.
way on the right. There it is. You do have a rename.
Yep, it's down
So
at
you
the
can
bottom.
rename what the QR code is for.
You got to put the extension in, so it doesn't like it. And
So
that's
the
it.
extension would be.
A PNG, yeah. So you got to add that .png
Good
when you.
to know.
Yes.
So how, if you save a document,
Save a document, and you rename it. Make sure you add that extension. You've got recordings. So like this morning's recording. So that is where you're going to find your files. If you save something, if you generate that QR code to share, it is going to automatically save it as well. So the kids will have access to it if they scan it with their phones. Or if you want to scan it, let's say it's after class, you want to hold on to it, you want to have it, and if for some reason it didn't save in your Google Drive, or you can do that as well. Use your own phone or iPad and put it in your classroom, however you do it. Lots and lots and lots of options. All right, Chorus is your whiteboard, okay? So a lot of people, their ClearTouch is covering their whiteboard because of space. Well, now you have a whiteboard. We were playing with this morning. So I'm going to add a new, right now I have a blue background. My coordinate plane I was looking for can actually be a background. Where'd they go? There we go. These are more tools. Background, I can change the color and I can change the grid.
okay,
and if you tap it again, you get some different choices. This will control your pages, like
Yep.
duplicate the page, go to the page before, go to the page after. We have 3 pages right now.
And we're on page 3.
Okay.
One thing that I think is fun, if you've got something set up but you don't want them to see it when they first come into class, but it's something you're going to do after they get settled, you can actually hide whatever you have set up and then reveal that once it's time for class to start, which could be a good, okay, we're starting. You went from a black screen. I mean, you can do that too by opening the app, but it's kind of a fun little. Now, when there's 2 people working on it, you must both be using the same tool. You can use finger, but like you have to be on pen. Like she can't erase
She
and you
can't be
writing.
erasing and you're on pen.
Yeah. Hand, flat hand is your erase. Only one of you can erase at a time.
That's kind of cool.
You got to have a flat hand. Okay, so how do I get to the hide?
How are you going to share that with anybody? Is there a way to share it?
You go to your menu, you can save as. This is where you can name it, what you'd like it to be, file name, where you want it to be, where you want it to live. Unfortunately, you have to know what your folders are called in order to have it not be in this folder. You can also export as a PDF and save to your drive or local storage. Then you can easily upload that into Google Classroom or something to that effect. So we all know that we have to bring our students' attention back to certain things. We got to get them zoomed into us, right? There is a neat feature called the laser pen. And if I'm on laser pen, I can draw, it's going to flash, and then it's going to go away. Okay, so it's not part of your slide, but hey, did you look? Did you look? Did you look? Right? So kind of fun, just something extra. I can change the color, red, hey, hey, hey. We want to remember this, that's going to be on a test, right? So hopefully when you say those keywords that will bring their attention in again, because we all know how that works, right? All right, so that is the laser pen. I did also want to, there's just a lot. I'm trying not to overwhelm you too much. You do have a shape pen, and I knew there was one and I couldn't find it earlier. If I draw and hold, it should snap. Come on. Come on. There it goes. You cannot turn your handwriting into text, but you can type text with the text tool. All right, if I wanted to clear everything, I don't want to save this, I want to clear it. Anybody remember? I don't want to stand up there and erase. Trash can works for shapes.
I don't see a trash.
There's not a trash can.
You don't want to have to use your hand for everything.
Well, and my hand doesn't work for drawn shapes or
Select, delete.
eraser and whole page.
The red X.
Yes. So I can clear or I could cancel, but you also have lined paper that you can use. So chorus is going to probably be a big one that you use. Chorus, notes. Collage is our next item. Collage is how you can collaboratively screen share. But before we get started, I'm going to caveat this by saying they are researching how we're going to make this work. Because if you are not in a classroom like mine where you have PCs that are connected to UNet, you cannot use this feature. You have to be on the same network as the ClearTouch. So right now, your iPads, your Chromebooks, and laptops are all on CNET.
They are on CNET 2,
Yes.
and the device here is on UNet.
Correct. So your teacher laptop can be wirelessly shared. So for instance, if your laptop is across the room, you don't want to run a cord all the way, you want to just display your laptop, you're not trying to be interactive with it, you can do that wirelessly using Collage. Okay? Your teacher laptop can connect. If you're going to do any kind of interactivity, you really want to be hardwired to the device, then there's less lagging. Okay?
And there is some limitation, like, are you talking about where I have my wire that goes from here to the teacher laptop?
Yeah.
There is some limitation on, like, this is a 4K screen, but when you have this cable and it's as long as it is, the best I can get is 2K right now. It would be much crisper if I had my laptop right here. And if you're connecting to a Mac, was that you that were talking about Mac? It has to be a 3-foot cable. So you'd have to park a little bench really close and put your Mac here to connect and work with it when you're doing that.
So we are going to go ahead and look at collage. If you go on the desktop of the laptops you've got, there is a collage app, and it looks just like this. I do want to show you in the menu.
Go ahead.
Okay. So in settings, I can change how long that code is good for. Maybe I don't want to have the same code all day long. I can go down here to code refresh rate. I can change it to never. I can have the same code all the time. I can do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. For us as secondary teachers, you probably want to have that set on 60 minutes once we hopefully get access to sharing student computers here. Floating size, window size and settings, that's this right here. Right now it's on mini. If I want it on normal size, it's going to show the code all the time. I don't particularly like it showing the code all the time because then it's what's that. So I just keep the mini on until I need it. Okay? You can rename your board. Like I've renamed mine left and right, or right and left, just so that I know which one is which, because I do have two. If you are going to cast any Chromebooks, you must have support Chromecast device toggled on. If you're going to cast phone or iPad, you're going to have to do support AirPlay device. Okay? As we said earlier, it has to be on the same network. And Dustin Keith came in earlier and talked about it, and he's got to do some more research. Permission mode. All devices, share screens will need a permission. You want to leave that on because you don't want somebody to inadvertently just, oh, I'm going to share what I've got. Okay? And you can say allow this device to be discovered. So, devices. Here are all my devices. Right now, there are 10 devices. There is an option, and I do like this, because if your teacher laptop is in the back like mine, so that I can see all my students' computers, I don't want to have to walk up to the front and back and front and back. And I can actually, if I tap this little person, I can give authorization management to that device, and they can give permission from that computer. You're obviously not going to do this for a student, but you would do it for your device, right? So that I don't have to stand up here and do it. So, Michael, I'm going to have you go through and share 9 of the screens, please.
So we all have
And that's
2
this
squares
first
on
option
our
right here.
screen. Don't select desktop sync.
Desktop sync is for, I use as teacher, and that will sync the desktop.
So if we all click that, then Michael, who's controlling this, is going to decide who is going to actually be sharing or what.
Yes.
Now, do we have to click that button to be able to share our screen?
No, you don't actually, because it'll show what's up there. You're choosing.
I'm choosing.
Yes.
All right.
And you can, if you've got somebody else that's finished with something, maybe somebody else is still working, I can replace if there's more than 9. Okay? So I can also long press and swap. Come on. The order. Okay? I probably wouldn't share 9. That's a little much. Maybe you have 2 that have done a really good job. You want to show those. But this is an option. On a for Chromebooks, you can only do 4. So there is a limitation for Chromebooks. 4 devices can be shown.
And this is not touch back. Is that the words they use?
Correct.
Touch back?
It's not
This
touch
is
back.
what we're touching on our screens, and it's showing in real time. It's mirroring. But she can't go up there and touch those screens and change stuff on our screen.
Correct. So now if you'll go through and choose a couple to hit the power button on. And that's how you remove them from being shown. It does not unlink them. Okay? So if I go to the Collage app up here, so these are the ones that are not connected right now. You can see that this one is the one that has permission to accept or reject. Okay? If I want to remove all the apps at the end of class, I don't want to have to go through and unlink each because I can disconnect. I can actually unlink all of the devices at one time by clicking that disconnect.
All right.
Okay, so now no devices are found. That's what you want to see before you close out, especially if one-to-one. I know some of the schools are, by the end of this school year, are going to be one-to-one devices with students. And it happened to be that my code changed. Now, that does not mean if my code happens to change while they're in class and connected, it's not going to kick them out. Okay? So if it changes, that's okay. They're still in as long as they're in. All right, do want to talk about two more things here. About is where you're going to check and see if there's any update for Collage. You do want to make sure that the sender device is also on this connection. So if for some reason, if the sender device is not upgraded to that, and it'll show you what version it is, then it has to be upgraded. Go back home. It's under Additional Apps and Settings. And then at the bottom of Settings, normally it'll come up here. It's at the very bottom. Let's go back. Any questions on Collage, on connecting? For right now, you're probably not, unless you have a computer lab, you're not going to be able to use Collage except for your own device. So, but they are working on that rapidly. So hopefully once we get to the advanced, we'll have some workarounds for that. So when you get your Clear Touch, if it's new, or even at the beginning of the school year, if you already have one, you do want to check for updates before school starts. I actually recommend that you check for updates on every Friday. You just don't know when they're going to be. It works just like updating your phone. It is going to cycle through and power down and power back up. So you don't want to do it first thing on Monday morning if you're planning on using your Clear Touch first period. You don't know how long it's going to take. So Friday afternoons is probably your best bet. All the way down at the bottom of Settings, you're going to see System Update. Happens to be that there is one currently. And it's going to show you, just like on your phone, what is available for update, what it needs, and then you would download and install. Okay?
So that's our system update for the Clear Touch panel.
Yes.
And how do we get updates on the Collage app?
In Collage, you're going to do Menu and About. And that will tell you if you have the latest version. I say the primary for right now on Collage is if your computer's in the back of the room and you just want to mirror it, let's say you don't have a TV, you just want to mirror your computer to be able to have a checklist up there or display a document, you can display it from across the room wirelessly with Collage. All right, Snowflake demo. This is the big item. So this is a quiz on cleaning and power of the Clear Touch. So read it and tell which one. Yep. What will power light look like in sleep mode? And then hit next. Oop, I think you skipped one. Yeah. What should you do if there's no power light on your panel? Check your power supply and check your kill switch. Where can we spray cleaner? Microfiber cloth. What type of cleaner can I use on my microfiber cloth? Water or electronic safe? Yes. Okay. What will the light look like if the panel is completely shut down on the power button? They needed to specify that a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, 'cause it would be no light if it was
Correct.
completely shut down.
What should you use for cleaning your panel? The other option would be electronic safe wipes. So what that was an activity in snowflake.live. Snowflake.live is the online version of Snowflake. It's where I'm going to build my activities. It's where I'm going to search for activities. There is a large library of already built activities in the community. You are going to want to look there first if you are trying to find an activity versus trying to build one. You can absolutely build your own. And I'm going to show, this is an introduction, okay? There were 16 not too long ago, and now we have 2 new ones. Puzzles, arrange, bugs. Kids love bugs, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. But you can build these, and they are all interactive, okay? On the Clear Touch panel, they are all interactive. However, students can use them on Snowflake Live directly, okay? Dustin Keith mentioned earlier he is going to email the principals at each school and find out who has a new panel since last year or is getting a new panel, and he will be setting up your Snowflake accounts. Okay, so you don't have one yet. You will notice on the laptops that there is a Snowflake app, NuiTech Snowflake. You can open that. For some reason, my password's not working when I go into this, and I'm going to have to reset it, and I don't want to do that right now. So this is the Snowflake app. I am connected from the PC to this. It is interactive at this point. So lesson activities, you want to try and not search here or build here. You really want to build on snowflake.live, which is the online portion of it. You'd go to My Lesson Activities, and any that you have looked at will be in your My Activities.
So once you watch it and try it, then it's saved into My Activities. And then, can you edit those after you've saved it into My Activities?
Yes. So this is called the spindle. You can actually save to the spindle. If there's bookmarks, this is going to be from your browser. Bookmarks, things you're going to use all the time. These are your favorite activities. Only bookmark, only add what you are definitely going to use. Because what happens if I have 20 of these sides of the spindles? Where was that again?
Yep.
Right? So you
Spend all
want to
your
be
time looking.
cautious on adding to that. I do want to show you zones, because this is a very big thing for this. You can have 2 zones, 4 zones. Some of the elementary schools have a Clear Touch that can become a tabletop. And so you can actually have 4 students working, and it actually puts all 4 zones outwards. Mm-hmm. It is really cool. You can also do horizontal 2 or any of these 3. You can set a default layout. You can save a layout that you have done, and we'll get into all of that in the advanced class. But I do want to show, okay, right now it's showing my spindle in the 3 zones. I do have a Q menu in each of the 3 zones. You can have 2 students up here working, okay?
I'm working in my zone, she's working
Yes.
in her
I'm
zone.
working in my zone. I want to go to the browser. I can make that YouTube full screen.
She pushed me out.
I pushed her out, but
She
only
did.
temporarily.
Yep.
Because I can leave full screen and it's going to go back to the zone that it was in. Okay? I like zones for this because, let's say I have 4 things that I've got going, and a lot of times in my class I've got them taking notes on one thing, I've got my slides on another, right? I've got a video that I'm waiting to show, and I have that available to bring in and out for my students. You could have your textbook up here. You could have 2 activities going down here. Let the students come in and out.
Could be the same activity, it could be different activities.
Right. I remembered where it is that I wanted. All right, let's say you want to save that for later. You can save current layout. And it's going to pop up right here. And then I can go back to it later. As far as saving it like we did earlier, I don't think you can. I think you can screenshot, but it only screenshots one zone. I want to show you the Snowflake Chorus because it does have some features that it does not have on the Android Chorus. She had Chorus open down there. That's your whiteboard. Okay. Couple of features that were not available on the Android side. You do have a browser that you can pull in. Okay, again, this is a Chrome Lite. Okay, you can still get to your, on this one you can get to your drive and pull things in directly from your drive. You can actually expand and increase and decrease on this course that you could not on the Android side. You also have an infinite screen. So I can move,
That's so cool.
okay? That is not available on the Android Chorus. The infinite screen is not available. If I want to see where I am, nope, that's not what I wanted. This mirror, this window right here, let's say, oh, I'm still on select. And then I move my screen way over here. This is what I'm looking at. If I want to look here, I can click and go back to what I drew. So we didn't spend a lot of time on Snowflake.live. You can do these activities from Snowflake.live. You don't have to have the Snowflake app, and it can still be interactive on here.
We just
So-
can't create, correct? Until we have an account.
Until you have an
We can't
account.
create.
Yes. So I'm going to go to my lesson activities. I had several saved for this. There was bugs, Android Canvas tools, Android navigation. These are on here too if you want to refer back to it. In the community, I can search anything I want. I can go to ages 13 to 15, just for instance. I can choose geography. You can make sure it's in English because it is used in other countries. And you can also say, what kind of activity are you looking for? Are you looking for a range? Do you want the books because it's fun? Do you want it to be where I can do a quiz? I can search. So then we have tectonic plates. Okay, this is the information on it. Once I hit play, then it goes into my lesson activities and it actually makes a copy for me. And I can edit it for my own use. Okay? So once I hit play and I look at it once, I'm like, I really want to add this, or I really want this to not be in there. You can actually go in and edit that. And then it's going to also give you more information here. And here I can show show answers, I can edit, and this is all in Snowflake Live. You notice that I am in the browser of my PC. I am not on Snowflake app. And I can actually change these up any way I want. I can also customize the content. I can change the information if I wanted to, add more screenshots. There's lots and lots of capability here. But your best bet is to start in the community and search for a lesson for what you're looking for. There's lots and lots built out there. You can share yours. If you create a lesson, you can share it to the community. You can keep it private too. Okay, Nui Tech, when they build one, they are incorporating as many of the state standards as they can, and you can actually choose your state standards. And they have been working on adding the Florida standards. I don't know if they've gotten it done for all of the activities that are available, but they were working through that.
We appreciate you all and your kind attention so much.